Hi everyone, I'm Lady Teddy. I'm back to read to you guys from Magium. Magium is a choose your own adventure story app that is free, and it's available for both Apple and iOS, or for both Android and iPhone. So I strongly recommend it because there's a lot of different paths that you can take, and I'm planning on exploring all of them if I'm able to. But it's a really cool story, and I strongly recommend it. Right now I'm doing a good, smart Barry run through. The main character's name is Barry. Yeah. I think, yeah. Sorry, I'm a little tired at the end of a stream. Yeah. So we are beginning chapter 10, I believe. Oh, one more thing. To make sure that there aren't any disturbances to the ideally relaxing properties controlled, I am disabling my sound alerts. And I'll turn off the music now. And away we go. I can't believe that we managed to get ourselves imprisoned twice in 2 days, Hadrick says, and by animals and ogres to boot. If word gets out, we're going to become the laughing stock of the tournament. It has now been close to 6 hours since we were teleported into our prison cell. I can tell because my stat device also shows me the hour of the day, in addition to my stats. Otherwise, it would have been almost impossible to find out how much time had passed, because not only are there no windows in our cell, but also no sources of light whatsoever. Great. Love when the game crashes while I'm playing it. Emulators are fun. But also no sources of light whatsoever, except for the small light coming from my stat booster's screen. For the past few hours, we have been trying to shake off the permanent paralysis effect of our prison cell and to come up with a plan to fool the ogre guards into releasing us. So far, we've made no significant progress on either front. Darren and Hadrick managed to remove their paralysis spells temporarily by focusing all of their magical energy into giving their muscles a powerful jolt, but they were barely able to move 3 feet before the spell was automatically cast on them once more. Of the five of us trapped here, I appear to be the only one that can move my hands, even if only slightly. It turns out that partial resistance to paralysis is one of the perks I get for being a Lasathi, along with a higher than average resistance to electricity. That being said, this newfound ability of mine hasn't really helped me much, except for being able to take the stat device out of my pocket in order to use it as a makeshift candle. Seeing that we couldn't free ourselves from the paralysis spell, we decided to shift our focus towards engineering a plan to have the ogres open the door and cancel the spell for us. Unfortunately, despite their renowned stupidity, the ogres were under strict orders to not let us go under any circumstances, and they were much too afraid of their captain to risk going against his wishes. Rose hasn't spoken a single word since we got imprisoned. Aluna's betrayal must have really affected her. The rest of us aren't exactly in the best moods either, but we are far from having given up. Since the ogres are afraid of letting us die of starvation because of our collars, we are expecting them to come bring us food sooner or later. At the moment they open the door, Darren and Hadrick will use their muscle jolt techniques and make a run for it in the short time that they have at their disposal before they get paralyzed again. They will then find the control panel that cancels the paralysis spell, and we'll all be free to roam their stronghold at our leisure. It's not a perfect plan, but it's better than to just roll over and accept our fates. That accursed banshee, Darren says. I knew from the beginning that she was plotting something. We were so heavily under-equipped for this mission that I had no choice but to accept Flower's help when she offered it, but now I'm starting to regret that I didn't listen to my instincts instead. Yeah, sure, she did a number on us. Actually, I'm not so sure she really betrayed us. Smart? Very. Actually, I'm not so sure that she really betrayed us. Have you gone daft? Darren asks me. No, think about it for a second, I tell him. When she was asked how to deal with us, she purposely omitted the fact that our collars are set to electrocute us if we distance ourselves too much from each other. She only told the shaman about our 5-day limit. What if she was just buying time so that she could walk around the stronghold's premises unhindered in order to map out its layout? You're overthinking this, Barry, Darren says. It's probably just the fact that the collars would have exploded anyway after electrocuting us. Running out the clock was likely the only way that they could have killed us safely. Otherwise, she would have mentioned something else. I don't think that's true, Kate says. Even if we take into account the fact that the Lasathi were significantly more technologically advanced than any of the current predominant races, there is just no way that such small devices could blow up this entire fort. If there really is a self-destruct mechanism implanted in these collars, I doubt that it could take out more than a room full of ogres. I think the Banshee knew this fact, and she was banking on the ogre's lack of expertise on this particular subject when she lied to them about it. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, Kate, but this all sounds like wishful thinking to me, Hadrick says. You don't really think that the Banshee is just going to show up here to open our cell, cancel the paralysis spell, and tell us that everything was her plan all along, do you? Almost immediately after the door finishes his question, we hear one of the ogre guards from outside our cell shouting loudly. Halt, he says. You are not permitted to go any further. Turn back now, or... The ogre stops mid-sentence, and the next thing we hear is a loud thump outside our door. Ha! I hear echo through the stone walls of our cell. That ogre! I never know what voice to do for Araka. Ha! We hear Araka's voice through the stone walls of our cell. That ogre must have been so focused on forming a coherent sentence that he didn't even notice his head being cut off. Do you ever shut up? Aluna asks her. Hey, you let me out of this amulet. I promise you won't hear a word from me ever again. Or whatever. Araka says as she starts laughing. A few moments later, we can feel the paralysis slowly starting to wear off. as I start to regain control of my limbs. Shortly afterwards, our cell's door creaks open and we see Aluna standing in front of us with her usual displeased expression on her face. "Well, what are you waiting for?" she says. "Get up. That chalice isn't going to steal itself." Seeing that none of us are saying anything, Aluna starts to speak again. "The girl told you before coming here that she had a secret plan, didn't she?" she says. "Well, this is that plan. I'm busting you out. Now come on. We shouldn't be lingering too much time in one place." "Yeah, I'm not buying it," Darren says. "I am much more inclined to believe that your deal with the ogres didn't work out as well as you were hoping, and now you're trying to use us to get back at them. The proof is that you didn't tell us about our plan beforehand." "I couldn't tell you beforehand, you oaf," Aluna says. "Your reactions needed to be genuine when I betrayed you. The shaman can tell from your auras if you are actually shocked or just pretending. That is the reason why I had to put Flower to sleep. As a banshee, I am the only one who the shaman can't read because I'm in complete control of my emotions as well as my aura fluctuations." "Oh yeah?" Darren says. "Well, why don't you wake the girl up then so she can confirm all of this herself. The stasis I put Flower in cannot be undone forcefully without risking serious complications," Aluna says. "The spell usually lasts 2 days, so I don't have time to wait for her to wake up before coming to rescue you." "How convenient," Darren says. The banshee frowns at him. "If you don't feel like breaking out of this cell, then I'll just take the others with me and leave you here to rot," she says. "Oh, I'll come with you. Don't worry," Darren says. "But as soon as I get my sword back, you are in for a world of hurt." "I see," Aluna says as she gestures with her hand and all of her weapons come floating inside the cell. "I'm not going to lie. That would be a bit problematic for me." She then gestures with her right hand towards us, and my dagger and crossbow then get thrown in my lap, while at the same time Kate's dagger gets thrown into her right hand. The banshee... "Welcome, Shadow. Good to see you. Welcome in." I don't know why it's crashing today. It hasn't done that. How are you doing, Shadow? I'm good. Thank you for asking. I only have time to read for like 5 more minutes, but yeah, so I'm just gonna go back to it. Welcome in, though. It's good to see you. She then gestures with her right hand towards us, and my dagger and crossbow get thrown into my lap, while at the same time, Kate's dagger gets thrown into her right hand. The banshee then grabs Darren's sword, and she eyes him intently. Darren tries to get up, but the effect of the paralysis still hasn't completely worn off, so he staggers on his feet. After looking at him for a few seconds, Luna decides to throw his sword to me instead. Here, you take it, the Banshee tells me. You seem to have a decent head on your shoulders, and you know him better than I do. I'll let you decide whether to give him the sword or not, given the circumstances. Barry? Darren says, as he gets up and starts walking towards me. Give me the sword. He's got that look in his eyes again. I know that look. He isn't thinking straight. He's going to attack Luna as soon as I give him his weapon back, isn't he? Just what am I supposed to do here exactly? Give him the sword. Only give him the sword if he swears not to attack Luna with this. Good smart, Barry. I'll give you the sword on one condition. I tell him, you have to swear not to attack Luna with it. Again with this? Darren says. Don't tell me that you actually believe her lies. It doesn't matter what I think, I say. Either way you look at it, this isn't the time to be fighting each other. Now are you going to swear it or not? Darren frowns at me. Fine, I'll swear it, he says, but only until we're all at a safe distance from the ogre fort. Good enough for me, I say, and I toss him the sword. As the five of us exit our cell, Luna makes a gesture with her right hand, and a stone dislodges itself from a nearby wall. Darren's shield then comes floating out of the hole in the wall and into Darren's hand. I don't understand, Darren says. Why did the ogres place my shield inside of a wall? They didn't, Aluna says. It was stashed in the same place as all the other weapons. I hid it here before unlocking your cell to make sure I had the upper hand in case you decided to challenge me again, like you did last night. Now then, if we're all done here, I suggest we get going. I already found out where they're holding the chalice. Is that all? Rose asks with an uncharacteristically furious expression on her face, while a tear is forming in one of her eyes. Is that all you're going to say after what you did to us? I already told you, Luna says. I had to keep the truth from you in order to make sure that your reactions were genuine. It was all necessary to carry out our plan. Oh yeah? Rose says. And what about all those mean things you said before we got teleported into our cell? What about when you said that I was too trusting for my own good and that I was a fool for not having listened to Darren? Was that all necessary too? As Rose finished asking her question, I could see Aluna's cold expression change for a brief moment. In that one moment, she almost seemed human. No, Aluna says after a short pause. It was not. I only said all of that because I wanted to get back at you for not letting me rest the other night. I overreacted. I apologize. The fury in Rose's eyes disappeared upon hearing Aluna's words. She looked a bit confused. I don't think she was expecting such an honest apology. Well, as long as you won't do it again, Rose says. Eureka starts laughing hysterically. Oh, Luna, apologizing, she says. Quick, find a place to hide. Barricade yourselves. The world as we know it may well be coming to an end. I told you to be quiet, Luna says. Hey, if you want to shut me up, you can just close the amulet like you always do, Araka says. Oh, wait. If you do that, you'll lose your precious map. that we spent all of those hours in the library to put together. I guess you'll just have to put up with me for a while longer then. Ha 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 ha. I hadn't really paid much attention to the semi-transparent magical hologram floating in front of Aluna until Araka mentioned it. Now I realize that it is in fact a miniature version of the ogre stronghold. Not only that, but there was also colored dots inside it there are also colored dots inside it that are continuously moving. I can only assume that the moving dots represent the ogre patrols from the stronghold, and that the 6 dots standing in place on the upper level of the left wall must represent our own group. That's amazing, Kate says. This entire detail hologram is being maintained by Araka? Yes, Aluna says. We spent a few hours in the library documenting the stronghold's layout in order to recreate it as accurately as possible. Araka's magical sense is powerful enough that she can easily detect all living creatures in our area, even if their auras are being masked by that pesky shaman spell that also grants invisibility. So she can just display them as dots on the map for all of us to see. With this much information on our hands, the ogres could not surprise us, so we've encountered no resistance until we cleaned out this entire floor and hid the bodies. Why do the dots have different colors? Or can't Araka maintain the hologram if you close the amulet? Alright, I need to stop now. So, save, load game. Save. Okay, cool. Transfer achievements to the cloud. Transfer local saves to the cloud. Transfer checkpoint. Transfer save slot 1. That's the only thing we've changed. So back to cloud menu, back, quit game. Welcome back, Ray. Sorry that I'm having to end so soon after you came back. So I hope that everyone enjoyed that. Sorry that it was so short. I appreciate everyone that's here and anyone who's been listening in. You all are wonderful. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you are having a wonderful day or night or whatever it is wherever you are. Thank you. Bye.